Hold your tongues. I'll be the first to admit that I was wrong coming off my last video, but there is no way for us to predict the future, and that is what this video is here for, to show you all the improvements since the launch of the ladder version 1.16. So this covers 1.17 to 1.21, which is present day, ironically the day before the end of ladder 1, September 29, 2022. Now, in my personal opinion, having played at the very beginning of the ladder, played the release of D2r for consoles, and I can honestly say Blizzard is taking all the right steps. They're making all the right moves to improve the potential this game has without changing what the game was originally. They haven't done it enough so that it doesn't resemble its former self, and in fact it is still the former game. But so we'll get into it and we'll cover things as we go, obviously. But first and foremost, you can now create games with your own texts. This is the biggest game changer of all. It has made things 10 times easier. You can filter so that you only see normal, nightmare, or hell games. It shows you who the game was created by, just in case let's say they're trying to trade something. If the person who created the game is no longer in that lobby, chances are that item's already been traded. But yeah, this is the biggest change here. As you can see, they still have all the original preset modes and selections, and all that does is create a game of that title with a whole bunch of numbers after it. So if you see it in the lobby session, that's what that means. So I'm just going to show you. Obviously you have a limited number of characters, and as you can see here, you can use 15 characters, spaces included obviously, so you have to get pretty creative with the names, but nonetheless it was I can't stress it enough, this was the biggest thing that consoles needed above all else, was the custom, not only creating custom games, but having the list of games that are available to join. So let's jump right in. Only negative thing I have to say right off the bat here is the load times. I'm just accepting it at this point. I know I've said it my fair share, but load times is just something you're gonna have to look past if you play on the Ps4 or some other unfortunate console. I'm coming to terms with that. I'm learning to accept. Now, the beginning of my journey, the last video I showed you the beginning of the ladder, and it looks nothing like it does today, and I am proud to say that, because all there have been are improvements. Nothing they've done has taken away or lessened the experience of the game. And I'm just showing you, if you saw my druid character level 92, the drastic difference between my skills and my stats and everything. Granted, this is a necromancer, but still just giving you the effect of what the struggle was before to what it can amount to now. And going through the options, just giving you guys all the rundown here, you know, showing you what's what, if anything looks new, but actually nothing is new in the options settings, and that offline player's aid is still available. The emote wheel is still useless, and in fact, I didn't know this, somebody actually had to inform me. If you're not in the same area as the other person you're trying to communicate with the emote wheel, it won't even show up in the gamer, like the in-game chat. So like if somebody's in Rogue Encampment and you're in Luke Lane and you try to say GG or need that if you're in a trade game, they can't see it. But So right here, one of the improvements, you can buy in bulk now. So there's no more having to sell your tomes to like Charcy, one of the blacksmiths, to recharge without clicking 20 times over, if you have the Tome of Town Portal or Identify. Here's another big one. These first few aren't very important, but it's the last three that are quite the improvement. And that first one you see with the hand reaching for the cube, this allows you to pick up an item. For console, this is huge. Pick up an item off the ground and it directly puts it into your cube without putting it into your inventory, then bringing up your inventory, clicking on the item, and moving it into the cube. So essentially it gives you those 12 spaces or whatever that are in the cube as part of your inventory now. Just heading down to Catacombs, take out Andariel, see if I can get a Soj. That's the only item that I can honestly say I haven't found this ladder, and I only played the ladder for a month, and you'll see my gear throughout this video. A lot of it was self-found. The higher things, obviously like rune words and things like that, were traded. You had to trade unique items for the higher runes, and I can say I've never had so many items in my life playing Diablo 2 or Lord of Destruction, and especially not D2r before all these new improvements and stuff to the ladder. So yeah, you guessed it, you can see, self-explanatory. I did get my Enigma, first time ever, and I was actually able to find 2 Sur runes, so technically I could have made my own Burr rune. However, I found the Sur runes pretty far apart from each other. But yeah, as I just teleport around here, go look for the Soj, I'm going to show you how the placing the item directly into your cube works. But so my journey through the ladder, okay? I made the video mid-April introducing the ladder, first impressions, and the game looked and played exactly how it did before the ladder started. And then version 1.17 came out, but I was playing the ladder, I believe it was the first week in May is when I started my Necromancer character. So there you see, I picked up the chest piece off the floor and I put it right into the cube, no dicking around in the inventory. So at the beginning of the ladder, I made that video introduction. That was the middle of April, I believe, and so then I started this character the first week in May, and I only played to beat hell. I was just going for the trophy to check the Necromancer off because, obviously the ladder looked and felt like it did from when the game launched. No vast improvements for version 1.16. However, over the course of the next month, I saw update after update for D2r and version 1.7, version 1.18, version 1.19, and I actually believe it was version 1.18 where I came back into the ladder to see all these changes with the populated lobbies and being able to join whatever game. You click on a specific session, and things of that nature. So then I played from the end of June to the middle of August, so roughly a month to a month and a half, and I accumulated all the gear that you see here. Now that is huge compared to my pre-ladder character, which was my druid. 3 months of non-stop grinding. I played the game more than I did the ladder, and more hours each day. I played it for 3 months pre-ladder, and like 7 hours a day. I mean, it was crazy. The only rune I found was a Gull rune, and that was it. That was when I was done with it. I'm like, this is straight up horseshit. And let me tell you how my luck had changed with the ladder. Now, I'll honestly say single player can afford to have drop rates improved just all across the board, in my personal opinion, because you stand to gain absolutely nothing in offline mode. You can't trade for runes or items that you aren't able to find yourself, and Players 8 doesn't make up for that. So you can see I'm just going over the base stats for my Act 3 Mercenary, the Iron Wolf. There were updates for this guy, and the only changes they received that were noticeable were they got a third skill, and then they replaced a weaker skill with a semi-stronger skill, but nothing considerably drastic by any means. And I'm just showing you my gear here along with my mercenaries to give you an idea of what I'm working with. And I can say this is 100 times better than my druid, especially at this point in time. This is only a month has passed with this character, playing this character, and my druid was 3 months of grinding my ass off. But I digress. Back to the mercenary. So the change that I was hoping to see with the Iron Wolf specifically is a higher base strength, because you might wonder why I stop all of my characters at level 92. That's because that is when the Iron Wolf has enough base strength to use an ethereal monarch, and that's, you know, after that they don't need strength to equip any weapons that benefit them at that point. So yeah, but along with that third skill and the swap out of the weaker one, Iron Wolves did also get a buff to their overall resistances, and I believe their hit points increase more with each level up as well. But yeah, so like I was saying with my druid pre-ladder character, 3 months of grinding, my last day playing that character, my first quote-unquote high rune dropped, and it was a gold rune, and I threw my controller up in the air, shrugged my shoulders, and I'm like, what are you gonna do? And then I put the game down forever, or so I thought. With this character, okay, over the month when I started actually playing the ladder, which I consider playing the ladder, because when I leveled the character to get him through hell, it was still the same jumbled mess, you know, as pre-ladder. You couldn't join specific games, so I played everything in solo sessions, and I just got from my character through to hell and beat Baal on hell. Put the game down second week in May, and then didn't play the ladder officially until the end of June. And you know, from June to August, that is when I got all of my gear that you saw in that last little preview when we went through it all. But let me tell you here, because I kept a semi-decent mini log of what I found with the runes. The very first rune I found, I kid you not, was a cam rune, and it was just random. It was in the underground passage, and it came off of a fallen. So yeah, I held on to that rune for a long time, and that rune actually netted me, with obviously the help of other items and such, my jaw rune. So yeah, I found 2 ohm. One was from the Cal level, another was from lower Karas, but not the chests. I didn't get any high runes from those chests. I don't know what people do to claim that those are a hotspot. I have yet to even get a mid rune from those chests. But I got the ohm off of one of those leapers, like the tree leaper, the cave leaper, whatever the case. I got 2 Vex runes. My first was in the Cathedral from that poison imbued skeleton unique boss that's there, and then the other Vex, again, I got it from lower Karast. I can't remember if this was from a log or an ape, because I did get a gold rune in lower Karast as well. So either one or the other I got from a log, and then the other one I got from one of those ape creatures. I got 2 Sur runes. One was from Cal level, and the other one, believe it or not, was from Tristram, and it was just a unique monster pack of skeletons, and the skeleton boss was the one that dropped it. And then my other goal rune was in the tombs. All hell difficulty, obviously, but yeah, comparing that to my pre-ladder experience, holy shit. And that was all solo. Single player, player 1, okay? So yeah. However, my my analyst charm, you know, I got 4 of them right now, but my first one, I was working on them with my necromancer, and it's not easy to do when you're a caster necro. Got him down to a sliver, went to town to repot, didn't have enough time to leave the public lobby I was in. Some douchey ass paladin came in, took my town portal, and fucking basically landed the killing blow on him, took the ante, dropped out of the session immediately. I was fucking furious because I didn't even get an ante charm on my pre-ladder character. So yeah, that was that. 1 month playing my necro versus 3 months playing my druid. I can't stress it enough. These improvements are insanely helpful. I don't know if drop rates increased. I still feel like they could afford to, again, for single player. You don't benefit from anything, the trading, and I'll tell you how I actually used my time playing the month that I did. Obviously, I had magic find, so when I would find something of value, you obviously have to know what good base items are and, you know, everything like that, because I did pull a noob move. I got the wand for the necro. I don't remember exactly what the specific name is because I'm not a no-lifer, but it was the one that reduces enemies' poison resistance, and I char-seed it, and apparently that thing is up there with the top, like, best in slot weapons, godly gear, and I char-seed it. So yeah, you have to know what's good for trading. But anyways, what I did was I'd play a session, I would dedicate like a whole day just to doing cows. So I do cows. If I found something worth trading, I would make a game with that item to trade for something I was looking for, obviously within reason, you know, not asking for too much. And then I would just do cows. If nobody came into the game, I'd make a new game. And that's honestly how I worked my way all the way up to getting my Enigma, even though I found my own Enigma base. But the runes, Jaw and Burr, were the ones I had to trade for. And I traded full inventories of items, runes, and charms, and mixes of things that people would normally trade for those runes. But yeah, aside from that, there's not much else. You can open the cube without holding, like, putting your cursor over it and holding X. So in order, like, transmuting or getting into the cube is pretty slick. You just open inventory, L3, triangle to transmute, bada bing, bada boom. Yeah, leave comments if I didn't cover something in the video that you weren't sure what was new or why I was showing it. But overall, I'm just more excited to tell you that times have changed with being able to create custom lobbies, and trading is crucial online, and you can't live without it.
Bye.
Spoken like a true necro. So yeah, guys, that's the video. I hope you liked it. Again, be sure to leave comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.